It was supposed to be a celebration, but what we saw on the streets of Washington, D.C. left the world stunned. Flags flying, tanks rolling, thousands chanting, but behind the patriotic music and red hats, something felt different. This wasn't just a parade, this was a message. Was it a show of unity or a warning to the opposition? Why were federal agents lining rooftops? Why did protesters suddenly vanish from live streams? Is Trump's 2025 parade a celebration of democracy or a carefully planned power move? Stay with us, because what you're about to see and hear might change how you view America forever. In June 2025, the streets of Washington, D.C. transformed into what many believed was the most patriotic display in recent U.S. history. A grand parade officially titled Salute to the Spirit of America. According to former President Donald Trump and his team, the event was never about politics or power, it was about honor. Honor for the military, the veterans, the first responders, and what they described as the forgotten patriots of America. It was meant to be a day of celebration, a visual tribute to the country's greatness, resilience, and unity under one flag. The official narrative was powerful and emotionally charged. American flags lined every inch of the main boulevard, fighter jets soared through the skies in perfectly timed flyovers, military bands played stirring renditions of the national anthem and God Bless America as tanks and armored vehicles rumbled across the Capitol. Thousands of Trump supporters gathered from all over the country, many dressed in red, white, and blue, holding signs that read "Faith, Family, Freedom, and One Nation Under God." Trump himself appeared in a presidential-style motorcade, waving, smiling, and stopping to salute veterans and thank members of the military. He posed for pictures with children, hugged Gold Star mothers, and delivered a highly emotional speech at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. In that speech, he did not attack his opponents by name. Instead, he focused on unity, tradition, and what he called the revival of the American spirit. He declared, "We were great, we will be greater, and together we will take back what's ours." His words were met with thunderous applause and chants of USA, USA. Conservative media outlets like Fox News, OAN, and Newsmax hailed the event as a return to national pride and proof that America is waking up. News anchors spoke of the parade as a beautiful, emotional moment where the country came together to remember its roots. They highlighted stories of disabled veterans wiping tears from their eyes, families saluting in silence, and children proudly reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. For many Americans, especially Trump's base, the parade wasn't political at all, it was personal. It was a chance to feel seen, respect, and powerful again. After years of feeling ignored by Washington elites and mocked by mainstream media, they believed this parade gave them their voice back. It was to them a long overdue acknowledgement of their sacrifices, their culture, and their beliefs. Official statements from the Trump campaign insisted that the parade had no hidden agenda. They said it was about pride, not power, about unity, not division. They brushed off criticism from liberal politicians and progressive activists, stating, "If you can't stand a flag, a soldier, or a song, maybe you've forgotten what it means to be American." To those who viewed the parade through this lens, it was a day of joy, hope, and revival, a peaceful celebration of everything they believe America should be. But that wasn't how everyone saw it, because while the music played and the flags waved, others were witnessing something very different unfold behind the scenes. As the official event unfolded with patriotic chants and orchestrated unity, something unspoken hung in the air, a tension not captured by mainstream broadcasts. Those who attended the parade in person described an overwhelming sense of control, not celebration. Streets were lined not only with supporters, but with heavily armed personnel stationed every few feet. Checkpoints became choke points. Some attendees were searched multiple times before reaching viewing areas. In certain zones, mobile phone signals were mysteriously blocked, silencing live coverage and leaving only the official stream online. Behind the smiling faces on camera, entire sections of the city were closed off to the public with no explanation. Apartment buildings within sight of the main stage were suddenly told to keep their windows shut. Others were instructed to stay indoors for national security purposes. Local residents later claimed they'd never seen a civilian event with such restricted freedom of movement. Even the crowd felt curated. Reports emerged that many of those in the front sections were not locals but specially invited groups, bussed in quietly with color-coded wristbands that gave them access where others were turned away. Some observers questioned whether this was truly a celebration by the people or a stage show for the cameras. Several independent photographers noticed something odd. Camera cranes and drone shots were rehearsed the day before, as if the event had already been storyboarded. Everything from Trump's wave to the flyover timing felt less like a parade and more like a production. Inside nearby buildings, government offices had darkened windows. Some claimed that temporary communication servers had been installed. For what purpose, no one knows. And curiously, certain buildings displayed unfamiliar symbolic flags beside the US flag. Deep red with a gold eagle not representing any known military branch. No press conference followed, no open Q&A. And when a foreign correspondent asked about the military's unusual coordination with civilian enforcement agencies, the question was ignored. Back online, those who tried to piece these signs together found themselves hitting digital walls. Videos removed, accounts flagged, posts marked as false information without explanation. To some, all of this was noise, but to others, these subtle signals painted a different picture, not of a nation celebrating, but of a narrative being tightly controlled. A moment designed not just to inspire pride, but to show exactly who's in command. As the parade marched on, scattered protesters tried to raise their voices, but many didn't get far. Eyewitness reports seeing individuals taken by men in plain black uniforms with no visible badges or IDs. Some were pulled into unmarked vans mid-chant, midstream, and never seen again. Phones went dead, social accounts vanished. The media didn't mention them. Officials refused to comment, and those who asked too many questions, their posts quietly disappeared too. Was it crowd control or something darker? What really happened at the Trump Parade 2025? A patriotic celebration or the quiet rise of something far more powerful? We may never get the full truth, but one thing's certain, this was more than just a parade. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories the headlines won't tell you. Thanks for watching. Stay aware, stay questioning.